Now that E3 is finally done, we can finally discuss everything that we've seen, everything that we heard, all the rumors, all the leaks, everything that was true, everything that was true. So yeah, let's get into it. So first off, we're gonna start what I'm mainly interested in first, and that kind of came out before everything else. Persona the Royal, finally got an English trailer, and I caught bits and pieces of it because I was watching it at work. But yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm kind of hyped about it. Of course, we're gonna cop that on day one. Hopefully, we get a collector's edition. And they also did talk about a collector's edition, but for Japan as of right now, and it makes sense because Japan's getting the game first. You probably won't see the game till spring of 2020, and it's called the Straight Royal Flush Edition. I have not seen it yet, but if I see it, I'll try and put a picture of it. So you don't see a picture, it is not there. Yeah, so that was really my first thing that caught my eye. Now, the second thing that caught my eye was the Star Wars. I already talked about this in my last video. That the Star Wars EA looks damn good, and I like how it has its own identity for the most part. It kind of looks celebrity-ish, because they got Forrest Whitaker in there, which is kind of funny. But it looks like a damn good game. They try to make it like a real Star Wars gritty type game, and I respect that. So, and I don't think it's supposed to be misconstrued with the Force Unleashed, because the Force Unleashed, if you ever played that game was nuts. And honestly, we should get that ported over to new gen consoles. But I think it's backwards compatible for Xbox One. Like, I look into that. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about the Xbox conference now. So, it kind of was what I expected for the most part. But some stuff I didn't see as much, and let me explain. Well, first off, let me talk about how much they tried to cram Game Pass down our throats, which is kind of, and I can see it because, and then how the new console wave is going. Like, we're talking about going digital, we're talking about cloud and all that stuff. They're trying to push Game Pass and beat it to coincide with the new console. So I get it, but they just shoved a lot of shit down our throats with it. Like, I get it, but there's some good stuff with that. Like, they have some new game releases for Game Pass. Of course, backwards compatibility and stuff like that. But I felt like most of the E3 conference was kind of boring because, bro, I do not care about a $180 controller. I mean, there's some people that do, but for the regular consumer, even for people that don't even have an Xbox, I don't think they'll be enticed to buy a 180 controller. So that was kind of disappointing. And I knew there's some accessories gonna come, but come on, man. And as far as the graphics go for the new console, Project Scarlet, that shit looks beautiful. I'm not going to go front. It looks very nice. The Halo Infinite trailer was beautiful, and they have some other noteworthy stuff like the Tales trailer. And they did exactly what I thought they was gonna do. They gonna throw in some Japanese shit like Dragon Ball to get the anime heads or the foreign markets to see like, hey, we support and carry anime games like Tales and Dragon Ball Z. Which I'm gonna say, the Dragon Ball Z game is seeming like a Legacy of Goku game, but I'm not gonna shit on it yet. Because made by CC2, even though I kind of gave CC2 shit for how they handled Naruto Storm 4, but CC2 has made a great Naruto 3 game, so we'll see how all that works out. So there's that. I already talked about Tales of Aria. I'm looking way forward. Tales of Arise. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to that. I hope they got a collector's edition. Doom looks pretty good. I think Doom was shown on like the next day, but yeah, Doom looks hella good. It looks like that gory game that I can get into. Hopefully, don't give me nightmares, and shit like that. But yeah, I'm waiting for Doom. Very nice game, very violent. So I think that's really was it for the day one of the E3. Bethesda showed their shit, and I think a lot of people was disappointed with Bethesda because some of the shit was like, from what I heard, was vague, and they didn't show Elder Scrolls. Even though they kind of told us way in advance that they wasn't going to show it, but and Fallout, that's a whole different monster. They should just can that game, just stop bringing it up. Just take a loss. But it's crazy because Fallout is so profitable and such a cool franchise from what I heard that they're just trying not to let it go to waste, even though they just scrap it all together. So the next day, I believe Ubisoft did have their conference, and I'm surprised I didn't see no Assassin's Creed. That's the first time. I mean, I didn't watch it, but I didn't hear no mention of Assassin's Creed, which entices me to buy Assassin's Creed Odyssey and the game before it. It'll come to me. It was the one in Egypt, but because I like how it's not coming off as a yearly title, so I don't have to keep up with something. Even though I'm kind of scared to play an Assassin's Creed game because it's so big, open world, and but maybe it's different because when I played it, it was kind of nuts. But yeah. So I'm glad they did not. They're taking their time with that franchise from what I'm getting the impression of, and they have a new one called Gods and Monsters. Yeah, and that look like my type of alley. I like gods in games. I like monsters, so it just seemed like a win-win. Even though it's kind of cartoonish a little bit, I'm liking that. And there's another game that they had. They had Watch Dogs Legion, but it became a meme at this point because having a granny with a gun is like kind of it's nuts. But it became a meme, so it's like people might not even. I'm surprised they even came out with a third installment, honestly, because the first Watch Dogs bombed. Well, it didn't get bombed, but it was like the trailer didn't match up to the gameplay, so it pissed people off. So it was like people just shunned it. And then Watch Dogs 2, like it kind of went under the rugs. So there's that. There's everything notable from Ubisoft's E3 conference. I might be missing something, but again, I didn't watch it. And to be honest with you, like Ubisoft games, it's rare that I play them. And if they probably have some big one that it's not coming to my mind. So there's that. So now that we get to the big one, one of the big ones, and that was Square. Now Square, it was pretty neat. They opened up with the Final Fantasy VII as we knew they would. And I'm kind of glad, because I had to listen to it. I was at work, so I had to listen to it. So I did not see the trailers. I caught bits and pieces of the gameplay demo once I got home, which looks pretty nice. But it still begged me the question of should I play the original to get a chance of the turn-based combat, or just go with the free roam, all that shit. But it looks hella beautiful, and I'm happy that's finally coming out. I know I personally trashed Square Enix for a long time for revealing shit that don't come out to like damn near 5 or 7 years later. Even though it's gonna be wild successful, it's still a point that you should not really reveal games until they're ready to come on shelves. If that makes sense. But yeah, and I'm going to give them a little slack because, and then I'm gonna say little because they get the collector's edition of Final Fantasy VII Remake. It costs $330 for the collector's edition. And like I said, I'm not personally supporting collector's editions that I feel like it don't have a value. And here's the kicker: the collector's edition is the same as the deluxe edition, but the only thing difference is from the deluxe edition that the collectors come with a big ass statue figure of Cloud and his motorbike, and but the deluxe edition costs $80, roughly, probably 85, and it comes everything but that. So you get the steelbook, you get the soundtrack, all that shit. If I don't say so myself, I think that's a damn good deal, especially for Final Fantasy VII. So it kind of makes you think like, why would you just put that exuberant price on it? But like I said, one time and time again on this channel, nostalgia sells. So we'll see who gets gold into that one. We see how that shit worked with a Jump Force, but this is Final Fantasy VII, a game that's been in the makes for damn near, I want to say 5 years from the time it was released, trailer first. But yeah, so there's that, and they also revealed the Avengers game. Now this is another big one because this game was thought to be forgotten about too. But I have a kind of a problem with this game. But I'm gonna get into the good stuff first. It looks beautiful. And as far as what we've seen, the story looks very interesting, and it looks like it's gonna be like another Marvel mashup, like an Ultimate Alliance thing. But here's my biggest problem. First of all, we didn't see no gameplay, so everything I read, like they have people actually at the E3 demo playing the game, and there's security, so you can't pull out your phone, you can't record, so you'll only hear about via word of mouth. That look is troubling to me because it's like, are you guys not confident about your game or anything like that? So that's just making me wonder. And they kind of did sprinkle some of the MCU on there, and it's just obvious. But at this point, what can you really do, especially for a game like that? That's very cinematic. You can tell it's gonna be very story heavy, cinematic. But a lot of people had a problem with the art style, and while I did find most of the art like meh, okay, a lot of people had a problem with making fun of Captain America to say Captain America like Mitt Romney. So it's it's pretty funny, but and I read an article following up that said about Square is listening to all the feedback. They don't change the art direction, stuff like that. Yeah, and they got notable voice actors. I like that. So yeah, that's a good plus on there. But me personally, I'm glad people are being at least consistent with their criticism on the art style versus how they did Capcom. So I'm okay with that. At least people are being consistent and they're shit talking. I like that. And that's about it. And what else? So the next day, and before we hop on off that, I just read something on Twitter that said Square said that they're committed to bringing their online bringing their titles, their game library to online. So that means you can probably play it on PS Now. Just basically porting the game everywhere. So I like that. It gets all the convoluted backwards compatibility, all that shit out the window, and just port the game. So that's how I like how Square is doing that. I really think Konami needs to take some points from that because it's damn near hard to play a Konami game unless you got that system. But that's another conversation for another time. But now we're gonna get onto Nintendo, and it's just let me explain myself. Well, first off, from what I know, I didn't catch the whole presentation, but I can tell it's pretty hype. And they have Final Fantasy 8 remake, which is pretty cool. Even though I never, because the Final Fantasy series has been very shoddy to me. Like I know they have religious differences. Some games they didn't make it to America and stuff like that. So I'm very excited to see that. I might pick it up and just get into it because I'm playing Final Fantasy X right now and I'm really enjoying it. Even though my gaming attention is just very low, but I'm still enjoying it. Um, that being said, Nintendo's E3 conference, I could pretty say it was decent because they got Astral Chain, they got a lot of games actually. That was which kind of caught me by surprise. I mean, not by surprise, but I didn't think they would come with that type of stuff. I'm starting to see Nintendo get into more mature games, lean to like that. So I like that. It's not just a Mario, Zelda, rotation machine. And I am going to talk about Pokemon, but I'm talking about that in a whole nother video because it's a lot to unbox and divulge in that conversation. But they also had Link, Zelda, a new Zelda game in development, Breath of the Wild sequel, which I have Breath of the Wild, but I gotta beat it. So hopefully, after beating that, will give me hype. And yeah, I'm ready to see what that's about. Zelda, me and Zelda games, we never really been. Even though the Zelda game I did play and beat, they've been top tier. But now let's talk about the big one, my personal favorite, the highlight of my day, and probably the best day of my life. Um, uh, Banjo Kazooie is finally made available in the fall for Smash, and the reveal was good. The trailer was perfect, and it felt like I felt like Thanos after he got all the Infinity Stones. Like now I could just look back in the universe and just see what all my e-bagging has brought. I finally got what I wanted. And it just feels so right because Banjo's from the 64 era. And the 64 era, he should have been technically in Melee, but I think by the time that game rolled around, Microsoft already blocked the Rare franchise, so that was legal issues and all that shit. But it's just so good to see like the final piece of the puzzle, no pun intended, in the Smash game. And I think a lot of people felt that way too. Like it was so hype, and I damn near almost cried tears of joy. Now another thing people was hyped about, which was another game I forgot to mention, but I'm only going off games that I really noticed that really I'm have interest in further notice. Dragon Quest dude is in there, and always been interested in Dragon Quest, but I never picked it up because um, it just seemed like a little. I won't say World of Warcrashes, but that's how it came off. But I might check it out because I know it's by Toriyama. We all know Toriyama, the Dragon Ball Z creator. At least that's his art style, I believe. So, and don't yell at me if I'm wrong, but I really like that. So that's within itself, it makes me feel like I probably might enjoy that game. But now that I've recapped some stuff, let me tell you what I have pre-ordered so far. So let me tell you the games I got. I have Doom pre-ordered, Zelda Dreamer Edition pre-ordered. Um, and we're this for Link to the Past, which I kind of got a little beef with because I feel like they're doing that shit once again where America get cut on content because the only thing Zelda Link's Awakening I believe it is that we only get art book, but the collector's edition for in the EU they get a Game Boy Steel case, which is fucking dope. And I don't know if you're hating on it, but it is what it is. I got Jedi Fallen Order pre-ordered. I'm waiting for a collector's edition so I can upgrade to that. But to further notice, I got the Deluxe. I got Final Fantasy Remake Deluxe pre-ordered. I got Dragon Ball Z Kakarot pre-ordered. And which, by the way, that was a bad name. I wish they did not go with that name, just for future references. Everybody's clowning it. Of course, I got Marvel's Ultimate Avengers 3. I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of glad I did not shit on the game because every time I see this game, it looks better and better and better and better. So I got both Pokemon Shield and Sword pre-ordered, and I got Catherine pre-ordered, full body edition. Even though I had Catherine pre-ordered way since February, but yeah, that's just what it is. So my thoughts on E3, and I really like to get into this because I feel like when people say who won E3, it annoys me because I feel like E3 is supposed to be taken as a show where you get to see what's going to be coming up for the next few years, what's in development, and just something to look forward to. It ain't not a contest, even though I will say it's a contest during new console cycles. So it makes you enticed to see what new console you're probably gonna buy in the future. So there's that, and I kind of like how, and I took something from every conference. Microsoft is focused on Game Pass, so I'm looking forward to Game Pass. Square's obviously got games out, and Nintendo's obviously got games out. But I really feel like Nintendo did the best out of all the conferences. And Square probably came in second, but I really feel like when people say Nintendo won E3, there wasn't really much competition because how many times you hear like, oh, Bethesda burnt E3 to the ground or EA killed E3. You really don't hear. You really just hear between the major consoles. And since Microsoft was really a bust, if you want to be honest, PlayStation pulled out of E3. There really wasn't much competition. So when people say Nintendo won E3, of course they're gonna have a good presentation. Because first of all, Nintendo games are not bad. Nintendo presentation are even good in their directs on a given day. So of course they're gonna have a middle to good presentation. Like it's rare when people say Nintendo had a bad E3. And last time I heard Nintendo had a bad E3, quote unquote, was during the Wii U era. So let's talk about that. And that's really about it. This E3 was meh, but PlayStation probably has their guns fired up. Probably next E3 they're gonna come out and show up. They're not gonna hype up their new console. Cause it makes sense to show off a new console, or at least talk about it until when the game comes out. When the same year it comes out. So there's that, and hopefully. And I'm down it that the Final Fantasy game like 7 probably be backwards. Well, it will be backwards compatible, but probably have a PlayStation 5 port. But I highly doubt it. And yeah, so that's really my ECAP E3. I'm probably gonna talk about Pokemon in another video. Might even link it in the description below, depending on how fast I get that video up. And if I don't, just look for it on the channel. But other than that, let me know what you do for E3. What are you looking forward to? Are you planning on buying anything? Yeah, so just let me know because I got a lot of stuff pre-ordered, and I know a lot of stuff that other people are going to pre-order too. So it's gonna be just a big next year gaming, specifically around spring, is gonna be fucking dope. I'm telling you, around that March and around May window, 2020 is gonna be the shit. So I'm hyped about that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like the video. Let's get some discussion in the comments. And yeah, click the bell for notifications. And you guys have a good day. Goodbye. Now this is post recording, but I just want to say real quick that it's fucking crazy how Nintendo kept Banjo-Kazooie's memory alive through Smash. Even though if you want to be completely blunt about it, I feel like Rare should have been a Nintendo studio. But there's that, and Microsoft is wasting away the IP. In fact, they're wasting away the whole development studio, and I really think they should just sell it to Nintendo because I think Nintendo could do way more better off with the Rare development studio. So I just want to get that piece out there because it just blows my mind that how we got everything I kind of said we was gonna get from Microsoft. We got Gears of War, we got Halo, and if you want to be completely honest, they're both one and the same thing. So what if you really get Halo? I just give Halo the edge because it has more of a cult following and is more iconic than Gears of War. And you can debate that which way you want, but it's a fact. So I just want to say that before I completely shut out the video.